Hello, one and all. This is WellArmedWithTacos, and welcome back to Stories from Sector 8. This is the last video of the 3 that I'll be recording in quick succession. This game I played today, which is Sunday. I played against another Tau player. This is the same Tau player I've mentioned in several videos who agrees with me that the new Tau Codex is not very strong and has a lot of issues that make it very hard to play. I was playing against him, and this should be an even quicker story than the other ones, because this game did not go on very long. In fact, this game actually didn't make it past turn 1. Spoilers. We played 75 PowerPoints. I brought a very similar list to my last one, but I changed a couple of things around. Obviously, I had more PowerPoints than the last video, and I brought some units that I thought were just going to be throwaway and useless, but ended up being a lot more powerful than I gave them than I interpreted they were going to be. Mostly because he played a very different version of Tau than I expected him to. Brought an Overlord, a Cryptek, the 2 units of 10-man warriors, and the one unit of 10-man Immortals with the Teslas, because at this point I love Tesla. Being Assault 2 is amazing on Tesla. I brought a full 10-man unit of Lich Guard for 16 PowerPoints, and paid for a Lord to go along with them so that they would have a Resurrection Orb quickly nearby. That was a 21-point power sink, and I thought that was going to hurt me. It didn't help me, but it ended up hurting me. I actually didn't need those 21 points. I brought a unit of 9 Scarabs for 6 PowerPoints, and note the Scarabs are going to be an important thing in this game we talk about later. I brought 3 Destroyers instead of 2, and I included a Heavy Destroyer with them, so 4. And then I brought the 3 Tomb Blades, and that was my army. I didn't want to use a lot of Teleportation Strike to get closer to Tau, because I was concerned with the counterfire defense systems that they have now. They've gotten way better. Now Tau gets to shoot twice. Granted, the second time is -1 ballistic skill, but shooting twice is crazy. So I didn't want to risk having anything drop in. So I knew I needed to walk across the board, which is why I bought the Lich Guard, because I figured the Lich Guard were the one thing that could potentially do it with their Void Shields. He went first. He was supposed to go first. He deployed first. He got the +1 to his roll, and he rolled off, and he beat me. But then I rolled a 6 to seize the initiative, and I started first. Right off the bat, he's a little upset. I should mention what he brought. He brought a unit of stealth suits, 3 men. He brought a unit of 3 crisis suits. He brought a ghost keel, a riptide, a ethereal, 2 strike teams, a breacher team, and a devilfish. I believe that is everything he brought. I'll let you know if anything else springs to mind. And a Shesso. He brought a Shesso and a Cold Star battlesuit. So 2 commanders. He played a battalion and a patrol. I only brought a battalion. Not a patrol, I'm sorry, a vanguard. He brought a vanguard. Where was I going? Oh yes, turn 1. I seized the initiative. I basically moved my army forward. I took the dynasty that allows me to advance 6 inches automatically, and 7 inches if I'm near Lord. I did that because if I knew I was going to be walking towards Tau, I wanted the extra speed. My Immortals move on to a building. That gives them a great vantage point, and my warriors move into cover, and I move on to the caps. We were playing the Scouring for this mission. And it just so happened I got the good objective on my side, he got the bad objective on his. It was randomly determined, so that's how it went down. My Scarabs moved forward. My Scarabs moved forward 16 inches, which is a lot. They definitely move forward. And my Tomb Blades move forward. I take shots at one of his strike teams. I kill a couple of members. I put some wounds on his Devilfish. And my Tesla carbines take some shots at the stealth suits and some shots at the Riptide. I put, I think, 6 wounds? No, I put 4 wounds on the Riptide with just a small amount of Tesla ammo. And he was a little upset about that. And I killed one of his stealth suits with the Tesla, and then my destroyers, who were inconveniently for him, put on that side of the board. I decide after the last game, after having First Blood basically cost me the game, I decided that I wanted to be First Blood this time, and I finished putting the destroyers into his stealth suits. This definitely put him in a bad mood because his stealth suits were his linchpin for his crisis suit team. He put all flamers on his 3 crisis suit teams, so he brought shield generators, so two flamers per crisis suit. And his intention was to use homing beacon to bring them in closer than 8 inches so that he could use his flamers upon deep strike. Normally under deep strike you have to be further than 9 inches away, and flamers are 8-inch guns, you can't use them. So he was a little upset he lost his linchpin. But he's able to cope. His turn 1 happens. This is where the scarabs come into play. Scarabs are 6 power points for 9 scarabs. And each scarab is 3 wounds each. That means for 27 power points, I have bought... Did I say 20? I'm sorry, for 6 power points, I have bought 27 wounds. And since they're 3 wound models apiece, unless you have more than 1 damage guns, you have to put all that into individual models, and they take a lot and a lot of firepower to put down. I think what he told me was he used 57 shots from his army into the scarabs and didn't kill them. That was basically when he was done. He shot other places around the board. He did not kill a single warrior. He killed 2 Lich Guard and 1 Immortal. He let me do my reanimations at the end. He basically let me start my turn 3, but not, or my turn 2, but not go into it. 1 Immortal stood back up. So all he killed during his turn was a couple of scarabs, which he knew I could spend points to reanimate if I really wanted to. And he killed 1 Lich Guard and 1 Immortal. That was his entire first turn shooting. And he basically at that point had determined that his dice rolls were being so bad that he just didn't want to play anymore. I can understand. Tau have a lot of issues in this edition. They absolutely do. I don't think they're a very good codex. Being Ballistic Skill 4 on even their best suits like Riptides is a very, very poor thing. I think they need to be 3-ups. But he shot the Breachers into the Scarabs. He shot his Devilfish into the Scarabs. He shot the Smart Missiles from his Riptide into the Scarabs. He shot the Strike Team that I wounded into the Scarabs. He shot the Strike Team that I didn't wound into the Scarabs. I think that was everything he shot into them, and they didn't kill them. He killed 5 out of the 9, so 4 were left standing. He killed half the unit. And then again, I could have spent my points to reanimate them. I did spend 2 of my CP turn 1, so I was down to 4. I told him I wasn't going to bother to reanimate them, but he said it didn't matter. By that point, he had spent so much firepower trying to drop a unit and couldn't. At that point, I was just going to advance forward and unleash more ammo on him. He was afraid of my Assault 2 Immortals, which I don't blame him for. Those guys do so much firepower, and he said the fact that he only killed 1 basically meant I was going to repeat what I did last turn, but more efficiently. And he's right. I was going to do that again. It was just bad rolling on his part, and it was good rolling on my part. At one point, I had a bunch of 3-up saves. This is for the Immortals. I had to make 3-up saves to him, because they're 3-up in cover, but he was AP -1. So back to 3-up armor saves. And I think I had to roll like 8 dice, and I failed 1. And that's when the 1 Immortal died. At that point, he was just... We were both kind of stunned. And it sucks when your dice are going like... When your dice suck and your opponent's dice are doing really well, that's the worst. Because then it's just... You're getting horribly screwed both ways. So that's no fun. At that point, he did call it. I told him I am this kind of player. I am the good kind of player. I told him, if this game is getting too stressful for you, we just need to call it right now, because this is for fun, and if you're getting that upset, we need to stop. He agreed that it was time to stop, because he just wasn't enjoying it anymore, and unfortunately that's what happens when your dice really, really suck. It was technically a win, it was a surrender. It was a surrender, not a call, but it was not a fun win, and it sucks when your dice happen like that. I need to do more games with Scarabs to know if they're that cheesy, or if it was just his dice rolls that were really screwing him. But if I find that Scarabs are that cheesy, I'm going to stop bringing them, because that's not how I try to play 40k. It's just a shame that Scarabs were pretty crap in the other editions because AoEs and templates would just take them out. But in the 8th edition, there are no AoEs and templates, so you have to chew through all 3 of those wounds, which means you were either putting anti-tank weaponry into them, or you're putting a crap ton of firepower into them. And I don't think most armies can afford to do that to such a cheap unit. Like 10 power points for 10-man Space Marines, even at half range with 20 shots, couldn't kill them. Because at 2 shots a model, they can't even kill 1 Scarab with 100% hit and 100% wound ratio. And I get a 6 up against those, against bolter rounds. One of those guys can't even kill one of mine. Which means even with a perfect 100 hit ratio, they're a 20 shot unit for 10 power points, and I am 27 wounds. You can't do it. So they are cheap and definitely wound absorbing. And against most armies, by the time they get into melee, they're probably not going to do much. But against Tau, that really devastates them, because I'm gonna make them run around and not shoot me. So it was definitely bad dice for him, and it does happen, and it sucks when it happens, but it does happen. The Tau player is currently talking. There's a 40k tournament going on in my game store. I will not be participating because I don't play 40k in a competition style level. I don't get any fun from it. But he's seriously considering just dropping out of 40k once it finishes, just because he's not having any fun with it. And I think part of it is because the Tau edition, the Tau Codex really sucks. I wish he'd try another army, but he doesn't want to. So thank you for listening. Sad story, this one, but it does happen. It usually happens to me. So I'm not happy about it. It shouldn't happen to anybody, but it does happen. So thank you for listening, and I'll be back with another story next week. I am playing against Dark Eldar, which will be not fun. Fighting Dark Eldar has never been fun. They are such a crazy army, and they're going to have their 8th edition codex, so we're going to see if they get even crazier. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys later.